Let's try that again. Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to Tarot Tuesday. Love to have you here. This is my favorite day of the week. And yeah, very excited about the one I'm doing today. As usual, doing my hand stretches while I chat for just a few minutes. It's always important to warm up. Keep everything limber. Oh, that's a good stretch. Sometimes just like pressing your thumb down like this, because this muscle can get really, really tight in there. Oh, that felt so good. Oh, yeah. Oof. Hooray for Tarot Tuesday and stretches, yes! This is honestly like making a habit of doing stretches at the start of these streams is really getting me to keep up the habit when I'm not doing these streams too, which is really good. Oh, just trying to, gently pull back on the fingers, which also, you also got to get your whole arm. Because you don't just draw with your wrist. Use your elbow, use your shoulder, those shoulder blades to press them together. It's good to do, like 5 or 6 rounds of just pressing your shoulder blades together for a few seconds. And it just really, really helps open up the muscles that you need to use. Because also when we are drawing, we're sort of curling in. Oh, Alex got a fun thing today. Do you want to show it off on stream, or are you going to wait for your own stream? He's going to show it off. He got a Plague Doctor mask that he's very excited for.
It's incredibly not comfortable.
Oh, it's not? Oops.
Or it's not that it's not comfortable. It's
not snuggly.
No. Yeah. No, it's not that. It's more of a... It's more that, like, I can't see... I see you, kind of.
Yeah. I think maybe the leather needs to kind of warm up.
It does.
You need to kind of season it to your face. New leather is always really stiff, but it looks good from the side.
Hi, chat.
Yeah, look at that guy. Look at that spooky guy.
I can't see anything.
He can't see anything. But he looks good. He looks good from the outside. He can't see good, but he looks good.
I can kind of see chat. I see Egg Champ.
Yep, we got Egg in chat.
Hooray, Egg Champ.
Oh, speaking of emotes, the one that we designed last week Wednesday is now available. I've titled it which is me sort of doing the scream.
Oh, it gets sweaty.
Yeah, it's gonna get sweaty.
It got sweaty.
Yeah.
Hi, Dane.
Yeah.
Dane, you were right, by the way. You're right. I'm not going to stream in this.
Yeah. Oh, that's not something you want to stream in. No. But yeah, I'm excited for having a third emote because I do end up getting really surprised, screaming sometimes on streams, especially if I'm playing games. But it's also just good for any sort of surprise thing. Like oftentimes when I'm doing these tarot cards, like there's always a moment when I'm just like when either like composition suddenly clicks or a color scheme clicks or just an idea clicks. Also will gasp a little bit for that too. Gotta stay hydrated as well. So yeah, we got the third emote because of hitting, well, it was actually supposed to be March's sub goal, but we, hit it by the end of February. So the new goal for March is to hit 35 subs by the end of the month. Then we get to unlock a 4th emote, and we can decide what that's going to be. But yeah, also on our way to the follower goal of 250. I think we're at 210, 211 right now, which is awesome. Thank you everybody for your support and making this all not just possible, not just, something that keeps me in line, but it's really fun. I enjoy these streams. I enjoy hanging out with you guys. So it's all around a good time. I love seeing y'all, using the emotes in other people's channels sometimes, because I know, like, I've sent y'all the ways of some of my friends, and they also, ooh, look at those cute emotes. Dab. Oh, I need to make a dab emote for Alex's channel. Alex, if you're watching this now, I'm making you a dab emote for your first emote because you need that. Also, I love the cute little trans flag, and Biolobich, your squids are adorable as always. And then yeah, so we have Egg Champ, we have Cheese Happened, and we have So use them all over Twitch. I had a lot of fun making them. Also, speaking of cheese, I need to show these off. These are some earrings that friend of the show Gin Fizz gave me the other day. They are little charcuterie boards, and all the little bits are made out of rhinestones, and it's so cute. These are like, I love big gaudy earrings, and these are my new favorites. Little charcuterie boards, how cute are they? How cute are they? Big Megan face, yes. No, I'm showing off my earrings. Look at how cute they are. They're so cute. Yeah, I love them a lot. All right, gotta shake things out. Yeah, Jin is so cute. I can turn up the gain on the mic. Oh yeah, you always... I'm getting my own mic now. Alex and I have been sharing. Wow, the gain is up pretty high. But yeah, I'm getting a whole new setup. I'm, allergies. But yeah, I'm getting a new mic, a new, camera, doing some fun stuff with the background, you know, trying to make it look a little cuter back here. I definitely am trying to disguise how messy my office is just outside of these frames. Like, outside of here, it's pretty bad. I don't have a ring light yet. I'm still working on the lighting situation. Things are in motion. I have plans, so it's gonna be pretty cute. But, oof, yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's get started on a tarot card. If it isn't on screen, it doesn't exist, I think is the quote. Yeah, so long as you can't see. But then I'm also worried that I'm gonna be one of those people where, wasn't there a whole big kerfluffle on Twitter of like someone posted a picture of their office and it's just like clean with some plants and people are just like, oh, this bougie rich artist, and like showing off all of their privilege. And it's just like, it's just clean. And it's the kind of person who managed to keep like 5 plants alive. Like, I got this one plant right here. I've kept it alive for like 6 weeks now. I could stand to water it a little more than I do, but it's still alive. And also the cats haven't eaten it yet, in part because I sprayed hot sauce all over the leaves so that if they tried to bite them, it would be too spicy and they'd be like, oh, that sucks. And this is like one of the few plants that I could find that wasn't like deadly to cats. So there we go. I have a plant. I've kept it alive. Yeah. Oh yeah, people will try to start drama about whatever. And it really does speak more about them than the person that they're commenting on. It really does just sort of reveal their own insecurities more than anything else. We love the internet. We hate the internet. We're on the internet. Yeah. Let's use the internet for good today and do some creative stuff. Let's get to it. So for this week, so last week, let's just pull that one up again, just to see where. How do I open this? Open this with. There it is. Open with Photoshop. There we go. Ooh, a star-shaped ring light sounds so cool. I want one of those now. I'm gonna get one. People freaked out about a fake. See, now I really want to build like a whole set out of cardboard. Just like like we watched Cool World on stream on Sunday, and it's one of those like Roger Rabbit where it's like a hybrid of live action and cartoon, and I loved like in the cartoon world and it's from the 90s too, so like before as much CGI as we have today. And so they built these very cartoony looking sets to sort of bridge the gap between like, you know, a live action actor is in a cartoon world but needs to interact with physical objects. So we made them out of like, you know, panels of wood painted really cartoony. And I love the idea of like, the animator didn't have control on Cool World. That sucks. You know, it's animators always get fucked over all the time. I did sort of wonder about some of the people that work on movies like that, but it looks really cool. And I always have wanted to just like build a whole bunch of prop sets, like things that are obviously not real. Like I want to put a fridge in the background now that is very obviously just a cartoon, except I couldn't do it now because this office is really small, and like I only have so much room, and I also do my I play Beat Saber in here, and it's like just enough room in this office to do that, and if I put one more thing in the office it will be too small. But Alex and I are looking into moving into a house that, you know, fits us a little better, and maybe I will have a bigger office then and can do some cool stuff. Yeah, start small and build up. That's, you know, that's the only way to do something sustainably. Trying to do everything all at once, you just kind of crash and burn. But yeah, tarot card. I did the Page of Cups last week. In addition to the Ace of Pentacles, because I need a little break from the major arcana last week. If I continued going in order, the Lovers would be next, and I'm just... I have ideas for what I want to do for the Lovers, but it's still, like, to me, it's like such a big one that I want to take a little bit more time before I get to that one. And I also don't want to marathon all the major arcana. Although I am obviously doing a major arcana today. I'm doing the Chariot. But it is nice to jump into the minor arcana too. And yeah, so this one is all about, you know, finding inspiration in surprising places. And so, you know, we've got this character. Usually it's a character finding a fish in his chalice, and so for this she's finding a mermaid in her glass of lemonade, and y'all last week were shipping these two and it was really cute. The mermaid's name is Daiquiri and the lady's name is Paige, and yeah, they're girlfriends. This is how they met, and they're married now. It was a whirlwind romance. But that's how lesbians do, you know, their second date involved an underwater submarine U-Haul as Paige moved into Daiquiri's underwater kingdom. But they do split their time between sea and land. Paige will carry Daiquiri around land in, you know, a cup like this, and that's their dynamic. We don't have to understand it. Love is love. So... for this week, let's see. Wow, the term rat was blocked? That's odd. And it caught congratulations, and Twitch flagged congratulations for containing the word rat. That's odd. Twitch, I'll never understand you. Okay, so today, doing the Chariot, so let's take a look at how the, you know, traditional Rider-Waite card looks for this one. Just to sort of see the traditional imagery, talk about the card a little bit, and then, you know, decide what things we keep, what things we change, while still interpreting the card the same way. So this one, you know, you've got the guy riding a chariot. It is being pulled by two sphinxes who are pointed in opposite directions. and you know, they are light and dark. He has no reins, but is still in control of the chariot. He is holding a wand. There's sort of a canopy of stars above him, a river underneath, city behind him. That's sort of the imagery there. Sorry while I wipe my nose again. I'm so allergic to Egg, even though I love her so much. She's just the fluffiest cat in the world. But yeah, so I was gonna do the chariot last week. I was just like, well, I'm skipping the lovers, so what's next? Oh, the chariot. I was like, I hate drawing vehicles of any kind. They are not, the Sphinxes will not be egg and scrambles. I do have ideas though. Egg and pancake. I did put Egg into the Empress card. There's a little Easter egg of her in that one. But yeah, so I was like, I don't like drawing vehicles. I can't think of a way to interpret the chariot that isn't going to have me, you know, having to draw vehicles, and I don't want to do that. And then Alex suggested, well, what about a unicycle? And my brain just like completely lit up. He suggested this to me after I did last week's stream. But yeah, just a unicycle. And because, so this card is about like the balance of, you know, you have the light and dark pulling you in opposite directions, but they're balanced and you are still in control. So, you know, riding a unicycle, especially, I'm going to do like circus theme. So someone riding a unicycle on a tightrope, and, you know, holding the wand as the sort of balancing rod. And, you know, they're not being driven by, they don't have handlebars on a unicycle, unlike a bicycle, but they're still in control, and it's all about a balancing act and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then I can have, you know, the circus canopy above them with the stars, the way, you know, this guy has a canopy of stars above him. Yeah, and then rather than having these sphinxes, I am just going to sort of, I'm thinking maybe like a bird of a different color on either end of the balancing rod or something. It'll depend on if I feel like I can draw a bird. I can draw birds. They're just, I'm not as good at drawing animals as I am people. And last year I just had this time of trying to draw tigers that just looked so bad. They were the worst animals I'd ever drawn, and I'm trying to regain my confidence for drawing animals. But I think I can knock out a bird or two. So yeah, we're doing circus theme. You know, we've already got burlesque in there. We've already got pro wrestling. You know, let's just keep it going with performers in the major arcana, and pop in a little circus performer there. So, sketch time. Let's get to it. This is going to be, you know, a little tricky maybe. I keep picking things with poses where like I need to like sort of start from their hips, and maybe I don't have to do that with this. Like I do want to set the thing. All right, I'm gonna start drawing from the head. And the great thing about digital art is you can move stuff around and resize things, and that's what I'm going to need. I know I'm going to start drawing too big. I always do. Every time I start drawing something in like a set canvas, I always start too big and have to shrink it down and have to shrink it down. Although when I work traditionally, like pen on paper, I have the opposite problem where I'll start drawing something and draw it too small and just have so much dead space that I either have to come up with something to fill it or like chop off the edges and make it different proportions. Someday I will figure out a happy medium. Well, the pen's lagging a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to restart Photoshop real quick because that usually takes care of this problem. Every now and then, gotta do that. How's everyone's days today? Anyone working on some fun crafts? Anyone doing some cool projects? I love hearing about your progress. Oh, Photoshop. I do use an older version of Photoshop because I refuse to pay 50 bucks a month to subscribe to Photoshop when I used to be able to just own it. It's some bullshit to have to rent it. I refuse to do that. Hell yeah, knitting as always. Are you still working on that same shawl or did you finish it? Oh, sweet. You're working on what Lenormand deck. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you're patching bacteria into a heart shape? Well, that's cool. Man. Yeah, Adobe Cloud sucks. It's such a scam. It's still a little laggy, but maybe actually, oh, you know what? I have Netflix open. Let me just close all the windows in my there we go. That should make it a little bit better. Still working on the same shawl. I mean, a shawl is something that takes a long time. I know. Like I know several people who knit, and like shawls specifically, they would take months on it. All right. First off, before I go too much further, I have to look up a unicycle. I gotta look up what a unicycle exactly looks like, so that so I can draw it, and I know exactly how to position the character. Find one from a good angle. Honestly, yeah, knitting and crocheting are I also consider them to be very magical. All right. Just pop that over there for reference. Ooh, a paper collage piece. That's fun. I used to do some of that, and I should do it again. It's really fun. Yes, apply the transformation. I have a feeling things are going to be a little bit laggy and buggy today. Hopefully, can keep it from being too bad. Just we're going to draw the unicycle underneath them. A unicycle is about the most complex vehicle that I feel comfortable drawing. Yeah, I'm drawing this way too big already. Oh yes, in the center. Okay. I used to own a unicycle when I was a kid, and I spent one whole summer really, really, really trying to learn how to ride this unicycle, and I'm like 9. I've still only been riding a regular bicycle for a couple years at this point. I never did manage to go more than a couple feet without crashing. And then the unicycle got a flat tire and we just never pumped it back up. It's probably still in my parents' basement, honestly. Along with so many other hobbies that I tried and failed. Alright, pedals are a little tricky to me. Actually, why don't I move this down while I'm working on that bit so I can actually look at it. Pedal number 1. And pedal number 2. Oof, mechanical things. Yeah, I'll draw the spokes in more detail when I'm inking it. And I'll probably use like the actual circle tool for when I'm making the wheels. Alright, so we got that. Yeah, I might have made the unicycle just a little bit too big. I feel like the feet are going to have trouble reaching the pedals. Yeah. So the wheel can stay big. Just gotta move it up. Yeah, okay. So we've got a thigh. So for my mermaid coloring book, I did have a clownfish riding a unicycle, but because she was a clownfish, I didn't actually have any feet on the pedals. She was just kind of sitting on it looking cute. And now I have to actually figure out how the feet fit on the pedals. I should have had this one be a mermaid too. I'm going to have maybe pointed feet. Oh, hey, Moles! Welcome. So that should be... Yeah. That's a person riding a unicycle. I do kind of want the wheel to be less... Well, do I want it to be straight on or more from the side? We'll see. We've got some room to improvise a little bit. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so that I have room for everything I want to do. Yeah, we're gonna do this on a tightrope. And we're gonna have a balancing rod. Draw. Hmm. Yeah, I really do need to figure out how to use like Clip Studio or something. Um, and just never have to use Photoshop again. I know like a lot of artists are completely bailing on Photoshop. There's so many alternatives now to Photoshop that are good and decent. Like it used to just be anytime you were frustrated with Photoshop, people would be like, well, there's the GIMP, and that program, I'm sorry, but it sucks. The GIMP is not something that any professional could or should ever use for making art. I I love the ideas behind it and the passion that people have for it who do, but it's just a bad program. The just everything is kind of bad about it. And but that was like the alternative for years. You got Photoshop or GIMP. I did have this program called like Paint Shop Pro for a while. But then they discontinued that. It was really cool though. Like it didn't do everything Photoshop did, but it did most of it, and it cost like $80 or something. And this was back 20 years ago that I was using it. But yeah, more and more people are starting to bail on Photoshop as it gets more and more expensive. Like the thing about just buying it outright is like, yes, it's expensive, but then you've bought it and they don't get any more money from you, and you just get to use it for as long as you have it installed on the computer that you have it installed on. And now, you know, they can raise the price by however much they want, and they keep raising those prices, and you end up paying more in a year than you used to just pay outright for the whole program that you could use for years and years. And artists are not known for having the most money, you know? Like, a lot of us are just kind of getting by. And it's not sustainable. Oh, that bounce rate is too high. But yeah, now, like, if you've got an iPad, there's Procreate, which is pretty good. I used that back when I had an iPad before it decided to brick itself right before quarantine started. And yeah, there's Clip Studio, there's Affinity Photo, which I do eventually want to start using. It's just having to learn a whole new program really affects workflow. And when I was trying to switch over, I had too many deadlines that I didn't have the time to learn a new program at the time. Maybe tomorrow for whatever Wednesday, I'll try drawing something in Clip Studio. Fuck around with that. Fuck around, find out. See how that goes. This one just looks awkward. Sometimes a pose can be technically correct, but still look awkward and unrealistic. And it's better to cheat it a little bit for the sake of a better composition. So yeah, I can probably make these a little longer. Yeah, okay, so the thing about Clip Studio is, like, it also used to be known as Manga Studio, and I've bought this program, I think, 3 times. Always when it's on sale. Actually, the first time it was gifted to me, and, like, it was gifted to me for a PC, and then shortly after that, I switched to a Mac, so I bought it for my Mac, never did end up using it, got a PC again, like, a decade later, bought it again on sale. And so, like, I've, you know, I think between all of the sales and getting it for free, I've bought, like, 1 copy at full price, essentially. But I need to use it. I need to actually use it. It's just it's a little confusing for me. And also, so I use certain brushes for, especially like for drawing spectacle, the art style. I don't really want to change it up in the middle of the series, and I use brushes that aren't available in Clip Studio. I guess I could find equivalent things. I'm sure I can find equivalent things. Um, but again, having to learn something new is going to result in a lot of changes, and I just wanted to have some consistency. This hopefully looks like a seat, right? It looks like a seat and not a weird dong. That's the seat. That's the unicycle seat. I hope that reads as a unicycle seat. Trying to get this hip correct so that it looks like it's on the seat. Okay. Yeah, learning a new program is something you don't want to do in the middle of a whole project, which is like a really big reason why, despite like years and years and years and years of really not wanting to use Photoshop anymore, I haven't found like a good place in between projects that, like, I'm never done with all projects at once. I'm always working on multiple projects at the same time. And so, you know, I'll finish one, but it's still not a good time to start using a new program because, you know, I'm still working on this other series. And I guess I could be like, all right, well, when I start a new series, I'm going to start it with this new program and then eventually, you know, use two programs for a little while and then less and less of that one and more of the other, and eventually make the switch is probably the best way to go. Yeah, I think, so like the Hexual Fantasy series that I do on my Dirty Patreon, that's sort of like a serial, like, series of short stories. And so, excuse me. Ooh, onion breath. But yeah, so that, like, if I changed between one short story and another short story, I don't think it would be terrible. So I might do that. Belladonna is going to be finished in a few months, and then I'll be working on a new one that I'm very excited about. Maybe I'll do some character design on that for a Whatever Wednesday someday. Which, if you don't know about Whatever Wednesdays yet, it is a relatively new thing that I'm doing on Wednesdays. I am doing art streams again at 1 p.m. Central, where I just draw whatever I feel like that day. And it's been very fun. All right, we want it to look like a circus performer costume. And then also some fun hair. And then the canopy behind. So let's put that circus canopy in there. And I do want it to look like, you know, we're looking upward at this performer. I think maybe if I just leave out the wall and just have the canopy above, it might read as a circus tent. Or, oh, if I put the main support pole in there. Actually, I guess have this, because the performer probably would be on this tightrope between these two poles. Oof, flying everywhere. So we can make it look like this tightrope is sort of coming from. Yeah. I think that's good. No. Actually, now that I've got the pole, just the perspective was off a little. And I mean, honestly, with my art, I very rarely ever try to go straight up for realistic perspective. Um, but still, it's within a certain amount of degrees off that I'm comfortable with. All right. Yeah, can do more background stuff later. Just wanted to get the basic shape of it out of the way, and I'm glad I did, because you know, and also there's probably like a little platform here with like a little ladder, little rope ladder. Cute. All right, let's see about drawing some birds. Let's see if I can draw some birds balancing on this pole. Oh boy. So many different kinds of birds too. Make it a very fantastical bird. But yeah, one bird is going to be black, one bird's going to be white. See, I like that bird. I'm glad I drew that bird. It's a good bird, I think. Who's a good bird? I'm scared of birds, like all birds. They flew away from home to join the circus, yes. These are circus birds. There we go. Couple different birds. All right, let's make. Yeah. All right, so back to the character. Oh, I hate how laggy Photoshop's being today. I feel like Adobe caught wind that I was using an older version, and they try to just deactivate older versions, even though it's like, you know, when you bought this, you bought it. You weren't expecting that someday this program you spent hundreds of dollars on was going to be, you know, they can stop offering support, fine, but to like retroactively take it away after a certain amount of time, it's like, it's not fair at all, but they can get away with it, so they do. All right, so I do want this face actually to be a little bit pointed. We're seeing it from below a little bit. Which is always a bit of a tricky perspective to draw. not have it look super awkward. This may be my least favorite angle to draw someone at, but doesn't mean I should never do it. Just means it might take me some extra time before I'm satisfied with how it looks. I feel like, yeah, glasses might actually make it easier to draw this angle. It's mostly the chin. It's always like the chin and jawline. Going into the neck. So you have less of that line between like, here's the neck, here's the head. This is stretching up to where, you know, the neck, really showing off where the neck joins the head. What's really going to help is hair. I use hair to cover up a lot of sins. It's just like, oh, that doesn't look good. Well, let's add some hair about it. See, already it looks better. Look at that. When in doubt, cover it with hair. Yeah, I think once I add some eyes, probably be a little better. Yeah, needs to be lower. It's getting there. All right, yeah. And I feel like maybe I want to give them like a feathered headdress. Sort of match the birds that are with them. I thought about doing a whole spectacle themed tarot deck just because that it like tarot is a theme in that comic, and I did make a few cards. I was just having a difficult time connecting every single card to something within the comic. Oh, that's under that. Okay. Because, yeah, there are a lot of stuff that, I mean, I don't know a ton about tarot. I've you know, obviously done a lot of research and stuff, learning more about it, but this isn't something I really knew much about until recently. And I learn a lot about it as I draw these cards. Like I spend a lot of time just sort of looking at the cards, finding one with imagery that I like, and then learning about it so that I can know just like, okay, here, this imagery in this card is symbolic of something versus, you know, the imagery in this card is just to fill in the background. And then finding, you know, other ways of symbolizing that same concept. So yeah, like this is the Chariot with, you know, this concept of moving forward with control and balance, which, you know, is typically literally a chariot. And in this I did, you know, a unicycle, and instead of the sphinxes I have birds balancing on this wand. So yeah, I really do, you know, learn a lot about the tarot as I make these cards. So I don't think, you know, there's this thing where you have to know everything about it and be like an expert tarot reader before you're allowed to, you know, draw a tarot deck. I think you can just go for it. I'm gonna pull these birds in a little bit so they're not getting so cut off. There we go. And then the costume. Let's see. I'm gonna give it kind of a high leg on the leotard, because I love a high leg leotard these days. I used to not like the high legs, but now I'm loving it. Also, thank you, Dapper Cadaver, aka Alex, who gave me the idea about the unicycle in the first place. Yeah, this is where it's at. I do think maybe everything needs to come down just a little bit. Like, I want there to be a certain amount of space underneath just to, like, reinforce the idea that it is, you know, in the air. But there's just so much dead space down here that I want to bring it down just a little bit for balance sake. I think that's good. And, like, having the pole in the background also, you know, very much reinforces this is high up. I don't really want to draw some audience in the bottom because after, you know, 5-6 years of drawing Spectacle and having to draw a bunch of audiences for that comic, I am so burned out on crowd scenes that it's a nightmare for me now. It's a nightmare. But yeah, I did think about like having like, so the original, you know, there's a river underneath, and I thought about, you know, having a river underneath this too. Camera flash. So for stars, the stars are gonna go up in this the canopy, because that's sort of how the original card is. Yeah. That's how it's gonna... Oh, that's gonna look really cute with that full of stars. And I guess, you know, there is text at the bottom that will balance it out. Yeah. Maybe once I get to inking and coloring, I can, yeah, I want it to look like it's clearly high up. And I think, yeah, having that pole and the ladder definitely gets that point across. So being able to lower, in fact, I might lower it even more. Just to decrease that dead space even more. Because, yeah, having that ladder really reinforces the height. So here's some cute boots. Even though I feel like heeled boots would probably be such a bad idea for like a tightrope unicycle rider. But you know, we're going for fashion over function here. Let's give some of those vertical stripy socks. Let's see. What kind of costume did the original wear? Oh, he's got these crescent moons on him that signify something. The moon. The moon is pretty. I forget what it's supposed to signify. I have to look this up. See, I'm all the time when I'm drawing these cards, I'm like, I have to look something up real quick just to make sure that I'm still following the crescent moons represent what is coming into being. Yeah, and like a bunch of alchemical symbols. Oh yeah, and the wand that he's holding is like the magician's wand, controlling everything through the strength of the will and the mind. So yeah, I think just having like a crescent moon motif on the costume might be good. Or actually, because they're kind of like looking like epaulets on the shoulders. So I could like, you know, have some crescent moon shapes here on the shoulders of the costume. Yeah, I like that, where they're kind of sticking out. That's a shoulder, that's a shoulder. And a lot of the time people will like question, why do superheroes wear like spandex and have capes? Like, why is that the uniform that they've chosen for fighting crime? And it's because like superheroes and their costumes, you know, they were based on circus performers when they were first becoming a thing, and circus performers wore this sort of stuff. Spandex, because, you know, it doesn't get in the way, it allows any amount of movement that you might be doing. And then a cape was really just to you know, sort of show more movement, like to really emphasize if you're flying through the air on, you know, a trapeze, that cape, you know, provides more motion and visual interest. So that's where superhero costumes come from, and circus performers still do, you know, wear this kind of stuff because it's practical for their jobs. And actually, I've made some circus costumes before, which was pretty fun. Put too many seams in this. Another thing about circus costumes is you do want, you know, big, bold shapes for it, because they are going to be seen from far away. And anything too detailed is just going to get lost. I think that looks pretty good. I think, you know, there might be some changes that get made once I start inking. But I think, you know, this is a good place to call it for the sketch. And So now I'm going to ink. Actually, I am going to take a quick break in between sketching and inking. One, just so I can stand up, move around. Two, I gotta get some more water. Have a little bathroom break. I think everyone else, you know, take a moment to stretch. I'm gonna run just a quick ad break. I should be back before it's done. And oh yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, we're gonna ink it in starting in, you know, 60 seconds. So I will see you back here right after this ad break. So let's do that. All right. Hey, that was like exactly 60 seconds. Awesome. And yeah, I think subscribers don't get ads, which is cool. Another reason to subscribe. I don't know. That was like my first time doing an ad break. Did subscribers see an ad? I don't know. You got a CC ad. Big Adobe was listening. That's wild. So yeah, it sounds like subscribers don't get ads. So yeah, another reason to subscribe. It also, you know, helps me make these streams better. I mean, right now, basically every penny that I've made from doing streams has just gone back into the streaming setup to make it better. You know, it's definitely still in its infancy, and you know, it's growing. But man, well, so everyone who was here before the ad break, and I was ranting about Adobe Creative Cloud, but now you've seen this ad. Have they brainwashed you back into being Creative Cloud loyalist customers, or did I successfully counter their ad and they just gave me some money, even though I told you that they're bad? You don't need me to tell you that they're bad. Everyone knows that Adobe sucks. It's just such a, like, the way that they run their business these days is impractical because, you know, they have competition now. They have competition. They shouldn't be acting like they don't. They shouldn't be, you know, they really need to accept that there are alternatives now, and maybe stop trying to scam everybody. Yeah, I'm clinging to, I think I've got CS6. Which version is this? Is it going to tell me? It's either CS... Will it tell me? Oh, CS5. I like CS5. I've been using CS5 for like 10 years, and I don't even want to learn a different version now. Yeah, businesses can afford... Big businesses can afford to use them. Small, independent businesses like mine do not, or cannot. So a lot of people have found alternatives. But yeah, like I remember, you know, back when I did work in an office, and we'd have to buy, you know, like a couple dozen copies of Adobe whenever a new version would come out. And I was just like, that's so much money. They do bundle it, so if you buy like 10 at a time, it's cheaper. but they really do think that like those are their only customers or students. But there's so many other people that want to use it. Oh yeah, also signing PDFs. Signing PDFs. Every time I have to sign a PDF, I have to like import it into Photoshop and save it as a JPEG. There's no, why can I not just like open a PDF in a reader and be like, here's my signature, send it off without just the fact that like signing PDFs is still a nightmare. Does anyone have a program that they use to like sign PDFs without a headache? Because it sucks. Yeah, one of the many tabs we've had open for a few days is best digital art software for creatives in 2021. Yeah, I will tell you, like, Affinity is pretty good. It really is. I used it for about a month before my free trial ran out, and I would have kept it going, except that, you know, I already did have a copy of Photoshop, and I couldn't get the brushes to be like exactly the same as what I had going on, which again, like I gotta wait until I'm done with Spectacle before I can switch over to Affinity, but I'm going to switch over to Affinity. And you know, Clip Studio, which I've seen people make such amazing things with that I want to also use it. Yeah, the fact that they take away the option to be okay with being outdated is, you know, like it's like buying a car instead of leasing a car, but then 10 years after you've bought the car, the dealership comes and takes it away anyways and says now you have to lease a car. When it's like, when I bought this car, I thought that I would get to drive this car until it died and went to the junkyard. I didn't know that, like, at no point in buying this car was it agreed that there would come a day when y'all just come and take it from me. So, yeah, I feel like at some point, Adobe will somehow find out that I am using this, that I'm using CS5, and they're going to come for me and somehow remotely deactivate it and try to force me to buy Photoshop, but I'm just going to be like, I guess my art's just going to have an inconsistent jump in art styles because I'm not going to ever pay however much a month for Photoshop. And yeah, there's the Affinity also has an alternative for, I think, InDesign and Illustrator, I believe. Do they have an Illustrator alternative? Because I do vector art sometimes, not a ton, but I do use it, and I wouldn't want to necessarily lose the ability to do vectors. And I want to find an alternative to After Effects, which is what I use for editing videos, because that's just what I learned to use when I was working at the TV station. That's what I used to do all the commercials that I did and all of the news graphics and stuff. I did it all through After Effects, and I know that there's alternatives to that. I just having to learn like 4 new programs all at once is really gonna, like, I'm in my mid-30s. My brain is already starting to reject knowledge and just be like, that's just out of our understanding forever. Like, how does Twitch really work? I don't know. It's a mystery. All right, let's start inking this sketch. All right. So some things I do want to have like actual straight lines and shapes. Trying to fill all the way down. So there's in Photoshop there's opacity and fill. Which here I can turn off the overlay real quick. So there's over here there's opacity, and if you're looking in the upper right corner, there's opacity and there's fill. Opacity will make the entire thing transparent. fill will make the image itself transparent, but any effects that you put on it, like a stroke, will still show up. So that means that I can, you know, actually 8 point is about right where I want it. And actually, I'm going to maybe make this, no, I'm going to do the tightrope white, I think. I do like adding a lot of white lines to these. Oops, I was trying to duplicate that line. I like adding a bunch of white lines to this to sort of mimic the border that I put on this with the white frame and the white font. So we'll see. But yeah, okay. We're going back to the regular overlay. Yeah, I need to learn how to use Clip Studio. It's come a long way too, like from when it was Manga Studio. So I am really excited. And they do let you like import Photoshop brushes now. Although unfortunately all of my brushes are saved in like the wrong format. There's like 2 different formats for Photoshop brushes. And I just happen to have the wrong one that they don't support. Hooray for me. Alright, let's also make the whole, we don't want 15-point font. We'll do maybe 6. Alright. Make it look kind of magic wand-like on the end. Or a butt plug. There we go. Okay. Pick is my brush. Might make that a little smaller. Oop, not that. Sort of do the base hair chunks. And then fill it in with the little detailed ones. I feel like I subconsciously actually drew a circus performer that I actually know. Looking at this face, I'm just like, yeah. Chin right. Chin and lips from this angle. I think that's good. The inking brush that I use most of the time it's one of Kyle's brushes. It's the Ultimate Inking Where'd it go? Ultimate inking, thick and thin, I think is what it's called. Where'd it go? Yeah, ultimate inking thick and thin. And unfortunately, Kyle Brush has an exclusive deal with Adobe now. So you can only get his brushes through Adobe now, which I was like, oh, you know, I bought his brushes in the wrong format to use with Clip Studio. I should go and, you know, I've used them so much, I don't mind repurchasing them in a different format. And then I found that, like, nope, you can only get them through Creative Cloud now, which, you know, get that money, Kyle. I get it. But also, I can't get it because I don't have Creative Cloud, and I refuse to ever get Creative Cloud. Is that eye? Yeah, this eye needs to go over a little bit. Ooh, why'd it jump over there? Yeah, I do like that this brush has like a little bit of a rough edge to it. It's not totally smooth. It does give it a little bit of like a real texture to it. And I'm gonna move the nose up a little bit. Sometimes Photoshop loves to make things snap to I don't know why some random place in the canvas. I'm liking this so far. Yeah, just having to subscribe to everything these days rather than ever being able to own things is so frustrating. And this card does have a bunch of 6-pointed stars. Some of the cards will have 5-pointed stars, some have 6, some have 7. I start drawing those feathers going in the wrong direction. I just draw straight lines. How do I do that? Well, they're not perfectly straight. They are curvy. There's certain curves that like my hand, it's in the muscle memory of my hands, and other curves that are not, and they are a little bit harder. There's like what I sort of think in my head is like my natural curves and then my unnatural curves. Um, and so yeah, very few like actual straight lines are ever just drawn by hand. But curves, yeah, like part of why my channel points are swoops, is because an article once referred to my art as swoopy, and Alex read it and he was like, that is the best adjective for your art ever. And I was like, yeah, you know, it really does describe what I'm doing here. Yeah, I guess they're really short straight lines, so it wasn't too hard to do. But like if I tried to do this pole straight from start to finish, it would be really wobbly. Like, yeah, that's not a straight line. So that's why sometimes I will use a tool to draw straight lines. And other times I'm like, well, this can be a little bit more organic. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Yeah, no straight things here. I can't draw straight things, so I have to rely on tools to help. I'm too gay. Maybe that's why I couldn't become an architect, was because I couldn't draw straight lines because I was too gay. Do you have to be straight to be an architect? Are there any, like, famous gay architects? I would love to know. But yeah, I really did, for a long time in my youth, I thought about going into architecture for a career, because my dad was a contractor, carpenter, you know, worked on houses, didn't ever build a house from scratch, but built other things from scratch. And so like the idea of, you know, designing buildings was always something that was really cool to me. But I realized I actually did my first internship ever, which I was talking on Twitter today about how I had to have 3 unpaid internships in high school. That was like, in order to graduate, you had to do 3 unpaid internships. And my first one ever was at a small independent architecture place. And yeah, just like thinking about unpaid internships, it was fine for a high schooler. Yeah, 3 of them. Each one was only 1 semester. I had to take 3 semesters of an internship. So it was, you know, 3 months each of these internships. And I think I only had to do like 10 hours per week at these internships. Maybe even less, because I think I went like twice a week for like 3 hours maybe. They were not very long. But I did, so like the internships that I had, they were with small businesses where I was working like directly with someone who spent the entire time teaching me stuff. It was never like, we need you to do work for us that we will later sell. It was always like, watch along with what I'm doing. Once you're confident with this, maybe I'll let you do some actual work. It really was that. It was like, they didn't want us to do actual work most of the time. It was very much like more of an apprenticeship than an internship. And I also wasn't paying tuition to take these internships, so I didn't mind them. You know, I was 16 and definitely, you know, made a lot of mistakes at these internships because I was a teenager. But, you know, it was with people who signed up for it with the intention of teaching someone their skills, hoping to inspire, you know, younger people to pursue the career that they loved. And yeah, so the first one was with an architecture firm in Grand Rapids. And after that, I was just like, wow, I sure had to draw a lot of straight lines. Maybe this is not the career for me. Am I putting that thumb on in the right direction? Yes. And yeah, so after that, I did a photography internship. And then I liked the photography one all right, and I actually did study a little bit of photography at community college after that. But the photography actually led to my third and final internship was at a TV station, just like a small public access TV station that was entirely run by volunteers. This thumb is just looking so awkward. And that TV internship actually led to a job. Like I got hired at a different TV station because of, you know, the stuff that I learned at the public access station, which, you know, it was entirely volunteer run. So not getting paid at an entirely volunteer run small public access TV station was totally different from how, you know, at the TV station that I worked for, you know, it was great for a few years, and then they decided to fire a large amount of the staff and replace them with unpaid interns. And at the end of their internships, they wouldn't get hired. They would just be replaced with a new crop of unpaid interns. And they had these jobs that they knew people should be paid for that they replaced with free labor. And the, like, promise that, oh yeah, this will lead to a job, when it didn't. And it really made everyone's lives harder. And then they eventually laid me off and replaced me with a robot, which, yeah. I'm glad I don't work at the news anymore. But hey, all of those television skills that I learned, I can apply to Twitch streaming. So that's cool. I'm still very unsatisfied with this hand. I'm just going to erase it and go back to it later, but I can't even stand the thought of it still being there. We will redraw that hand. But yeah, unpaid internships make me very angry. I think college has turned into a way to gain knowledge and like a really beautiful thing, and it's been corrupted into a business to squeeze as much money as possible out of people with no life experience to see that as predatory. And it's such a shame, but I do feel like I'm always encouraging people not to go to art school. Like, you can get some pretty good contacts in whatever industry you're looking to go into. And I mean, granted, there are certain industries that they'll only hire you if you went to a certain school. But I think a lot of jobs, if you can do them without going to school, do it. Like, go to trade school. My younger sister's going to trade school right now, and she's really happy with it. And I just went to community college for a couple years. Just took classes to learn how to use, you know, Photoshop better. But yeah, I do think that like a large part of why I've had a successful art career is because I didn't go to art school, so I didn't have student loans, so I could afford to do things that other people couldn't because they had student loans to pay off. I could afford to be a little bit more picky about how much I worked and what kind of jobs I worked at. I could afford to buy a house because I didn't have student loan payments. Like, yeah, there's definitely people that learn better in a school setting, but also I think you can learn in a school-like structure without being in school. Like, I think taking art classes outside of a college is something that should be more available and legitimized. Like, you know, the a lot of artistic fields, you know, do a sort of apprenticeship thing. Like tattooing, you don't like go to school to be a tattoo artist. You apprentice at a tattoo shop, and then they teach you the art of tattooing over time. But yeah, having a place on a schedule and in a physical location at a set time, absolutely. Like with someone who does have ADHD, like I get that a lot. Like the structure of school is absolutely conducive to how a lot of people learn. And you know, that was also true for me. Like I learned, but I learned so much at community college, which cost me like $2,000 a year or something. Granted, that was 17 years ago now. Oof, getting old. But yeah, if I had gone to, like, I had friends that went to the big fancy art school in town, and you know, I'm working as an artist, and a lot of them are not. Which isn't, you know, to say that they were bad artists or made bad choices at all. It's just that, you know, the college system is a predatory scam in a lot of ways. And, you know, you can't fault a teenager for not seeing through that. I was fortunate enough to have parents who insisted I go to community college before going to a 4-year college. And I got to the end of community college and I was like, well, I guess if I need more years of schooling, I'll go back, but I'll just wait until that feels necessary. And it's never really felt necessary. And I think if I did go back and take college classes, it wouldn't be for a degree. I would just be like, here's what I want to learn. Take a class to learn that. Here's another thing I want to learn. Take a class to learn that. I do feel like maybe some business classes would be nice, because I'm not the best at the business part of freelancing. I just hate money. I hate money, and that's why I became an artist. I was like, other jobs? Nope, they give me too much money. I should be an artist. I want that neckline to just so. Yeah, I think also going to college directly out of high school does a lot of people a disservice. Like for so many people, it's just like, well, I reached the end of high school, so what's next? College, I guess. And so many people don't know what they want to do, or have an idea of what they want to do, and then get out into the world and find they can't really do anything with that. And so some life experience will help you both determine what you want to do in the first place, and also, you know, what the world needs from you. Like sometimes you discover through living life, like, oh, hey, there's this huge gap in, you know, there's this very needed thing in our society that not enough people are doing, and I could see myself doing this. And then so you go to school with much more passion. You know, going to community college, there were a lot of older people who were returning education, and they always took everything way more seriously than the ones who were just out of high school. And I know I would have gotten more out of community college if I'd taken some time also, because I went from high school that was this very like accelerated program, and everyone was just like, oh, you're so smart and gifted and talented. And so I did go into college just being like, this is all beneath me. And I think I needed, if I'd been a little bit more humbled by the real world. I think I would have gone into those classes with much more open eyes and open mind for learning new things, I think. If I could have seen more of the practical purpose of what I was learning rather than seeing homework as homework and some sort of chore to do, seeing it as like, oh, I'm practicing this because, you know, this is going to give me these skills and I use these skills to do this thing. You can't always see that when you're young. You don't always see the purpose of what you're being asked to do. Ooh. But yeah, the high school to college pipeline is just taking advantage of the naivety of teenagers, I think. Yeah. Yeah, like if you don't end up making connections at art school, you know, that is maybe the most valuable thing you can get out of paying for art school is, you know, making connections. And if you don't end up making those connections, it can kind of seem like a very expensive way to gain skills you could have gained for a much cheaper price tag. I come from like a very blue collar kind of family too. Um, and you know, I think my sister is the first one to get a 4-year degree. And yeah, there's definitely a huge chunk of jobs that will automatically screen you if you don't have a degree. It's a shitty position we're putting kids in, yes, Moles. And yeah, it isn't fair. It's you know, it went from being like, okay, here's some job, like go to school, go to college if you're going to be a doctor, for sure. I do want to know that someone performing surgery on me has gone to school to learn how to do that. But there are so many jobs that really don't need college. And just so many employers have learned that, you know, they can require a degree even though you don't actually need one to do the job that you're doing. The first graphic design job I ever had required a bachelor's degree, and I didn't have a bachelor's degree. I just had a good portfolio, and thankfully they were willing to see that, you know, my lack of education didn't mean I was a bad candidate. But nowadays, yeah, they'll just screen you directly out. But my advice is to just apply for things you're not qualified for on paper, because a lot of times a manager is, you know, making job listings, but they don't even end up being the person doing the interviews or the hiring. And so you end up talking to someone or interviewing with someone who knows what makes an actual good candidate, and it's not solely education. And yeah, but yeah, requiring a degree is a great way to make sure poor people don't work for you, make sure poor people stay poor, whether by, you know, allowing them an education but saddling them with so much student debt that it keeps them poor, or never allowing them to get an education and that keeps them poor. But yeah, shoot your shot. Like, a lot of times they will you know, try and weed you out, but shoot your shot anyways. Yep, shoot your shot. And yeah, I don't know where my associate's degree piece of paper is. It's probably long gone. I think I lost it when my house burned down. I still don't have a birth certificate because of the house fire. But yes, this is always Rosalarian Draws and Critiques Capitalism. I think I end up critiquing capitalism in like every single stream I ever do, regardless of what it's supposed to be about, because I I am actually now like an official uh socialist. I joined the DSA so that now I get even more socialism talking points in my email inbox and discuss socialism with everyone I know. Like, I was talking to my dad. It was his birthday yesterday, and I called him, and we just spent a lot of time just like critiquing capitalism. And you know, he is so upset for my generation. He was just talking about how he built his life when he was, you know, younger than me. When he said when he was like 20, 21, like very young, and he was just like working in a mail room and making the equivalent of $90,000 a year. And he's very much just like, our generation stole everything from yours and it's not fair. Your life is so much harder than mine. Your life should have been easier than mine. We should have made it better for you. And, you know, my peers made it worse, and that's not fair, and it's not your fault at all. And they, you know, they can't really offer me monetary support most of the time because they don't really have much money. My dad is also self-employed. My mom works part-time. But they give me, you know, other kinds of support. And, you know, if I ever did have to move back in with them, they would let me. I never have had to, though. But just knowing that I have that safety net, it really helps. And also not having to argue with my parents about how socialism is a good thing also just takes a load off my mind. Never having to worry that, you know, my parents are going to end up being Trump supporters. Yeah. Yeah, eat the rich, but Jeff Bezos. Here's the thing. I 100% think that Jeff Bezos has eaten human flesh. I think once you reach a certain amount of wealth and power, you're just like, what can I do now that, like, is going to give me a thrill anymore? And I think it's eating human flesh. I think if you have so little compassion in your body to become a billionaire in the first place, that you absolutely would eat human flesh. Like, if you sacrifice people through capitalism, you will actually sacrifice people literally and eat them. I 100% believe that there's like a billionaire secret supper club where they just like eat poor people that they find. Yeah. But yeah, I bet you they would all taste like shit the way apex predators always taste kind of bad, you know? I ate a shark once and I was like, this is one of the worst things I've ever eaten in my life. Yeah, the rich do so much CrossFit, they'd only be passably good in a stew. Yeah, you would have to definitely, like, slow cook a billionaire, like, over at least a full day, I think. And, like, with a lot of seasoning and, like, a good amount of acid to break down all of that hardness that they have in them. They'd be so tough and gristly and disgusting. Maybe they do that on purpose so that we won't literally eat them. Yeah, don't literally eat the rich because they taste horrible and have no nutritional value. They actually have no real value to society or your body. So don't literally eat the rich. You know, kill the rich and then leave them for the vultures. I do love the idea of a cookbook based on the concept of eating the rich. That's fantastic. But yeah, eat the rich always. Fuck capitalism. Compost the rich. Yes. Yes. Perfect. I want I think the best, if we wanted to dispose of the rich in a more humane way than they dispose of us, I think I love the idea of the rich building a spaceship and going to Mars. I actually love the idea of all the rich people being the only ones who get to go to Mars, because Mars sucks, honestly. Like, Mars was not made for humans to live on. So let the rich people go to Mars and be like, oh wow, this actually really sucks here. Who would want to live here? But while they're gone, we can fix the Earth. And if the rich people ever try and come back, we'll be like, oh no, we figured out all our shit while you were gone. You are not welcome here. Go back to Mars. Either that, or we need like a real life Matrix and just put all the rich people in the Matrix. And yes, you can post the link to the cute compost the rich sticker. Yeah, and also yeet Elon Musk into space. And also, I do want to be composted when I die. Actually, when I die, I wanted to put in my will, when I die, fill my butthole with peach pits and plant me in the ground so that eventually some peach trees will grow out of my body and everyone can eat my ass. And actually, friend of the show, Jin Fizz, who is a lawyer, helped me draft up a will to specify exactly that. I still need to like finalize it, actually. But I still really want to do that. But yeah, I think we could also put the rich people in the Matrix and let them think that they're continuing to get richer, because all their money is just like numbers. It's not even real to them. They don't have that much cash laying around. It's just numbers, like a video game. It's just points to them once it becomes so much that you can't even spend it. So yeah, just put them in the Matrix and they can keep accumulating points while they don't bother the rest of us. Also, Macy, I think I might have met you at the Halloween party where Jin Fizz was drafting that will for me. It was a very fun part of a Halloween party. Yeah, money is fake. It's meaningless. It's not real once you have a certain amount of it. Once you reach a certain amount of money, it's just points. So just put the rich people in a system where it becomes just points. And, oh, am I ready for this hand yet? Okay, you know what I gotta do? I gotta do a better sketch of it first. Let me look at, do I have a rod or something I can hold and like look at it for reference? Of course I don't. Oh, yeah, here. This is a stained glass tool. Okay. Yeah, okay. Still doesn't look great. Oh yeah, I think, yeah, we met a little bit later than that Halloween party. Which, fingers crossed, we get a Halloween this year. At the very least, I think this year, maybe having like an outdoor Halloween party and, you know, making everyone wear masks would work, because we did see, like, especially with all the protests that were happening back in June, they weren't leading to an uptick in cases. So being outdoors and masked seems to be pretty good at keeping things under control. And Halloween lends itself to wearing masks anyways. So I am going to have a Halloween party this year. It's just, will it be indoors or outdoors? All right, that looks a little better. Yeah, move to a place near a park. Yeah, living near a park, definitely. I went to the park near my house like at least once a week last summer so I could hang out with people that weren't in my pod. Cuz yeah, being outside cut down on so much of the risk. And I went on a walk through the park on Sunday because it was above 30 degrees and therefore springtime. And there, okay. Wow, Texas has lifted mask mandates and everyone can open 100% capacity. That is bad. Like, Chicago has actually gotten a pretty good handle on things. We're at about a 2.5% positivity rate on average throughout the city, and we still opened things up only to 50% capacity. And even that has a lot of people mad on both sides. People either want it 100% or 0%. Um, and it just sucks of just like, oh, hey, we made progress. Now let's undo all of it by opening things back up again. You know what? I'm just going to have this pinky sticking out a little bit. Pinky's out. No, that's awkward. This hand! This hand! I'm so upset about this hand. Eh. Here we go. When in doubt, pinky out. Yes. In fact, actually, maybe I'll draw this pinky up. Just like fancy style. Have made this hand a little too big also, I think, is part of the problem. It's way bigger than the other hand. I think actually the hand I drew before was fine. I just drew it too big. Yeah. Oh, that looks a lot better. So the one drawback to this brush that I love using is that if you resize it, even going smaller, it makes it a little blurry. At least close up, it ends up looking blurry. Yeah, I think this is a better pinky than I had before. Yeah. Okay, I think got these hands looking a lot better. Oof. I feel like, you know, usually I'm really good at drawing hands, but I feel like any day where I'm having an easier time drawing birds, it's kind of a rough day for me, although I haven't actually started with these birds. I'm not going to go into full, like, big detail with them either. So this is going to be the blackbird. That's going to be, you know, I'm giving it a sort of crow beak. Crows are actually the one kind of bird that I really like. All other birds scare the shit out of me. Especially chickens. So I'm gonna probably end up actually drawing this bird more of like a dark blue. But with a lot of shading. Crows are perfect babies. Pigeons are cute from a distance. Like I do enjoy sometimes seeing all the pigeons around the city. Also because they're like chubby enough that I feel like they couldn't just fly at my face really suddenly. That's the thing that scares me about birds, is just feeling like they could just come right for my face and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Yeah, pigeons can't help being silly feral goobers. Yeah, I guess, pigeons can sometimes act like just a doofy cat in a way. Of just like, oh, you're just so silly. Who can actually take you seriously? And they also seem pretty chill. But like chickens will murder you. Chickens will straight up murder you. They're the birds I am most afraid of, chickens. Actually, no, peacocks. I used to live next to some people who had peacocks, and they sound like children screaming. Like children being murdered is how a pigeon, or how a peacock sounds. So fuck peacocks. All right, and then we've got a white bird. Oof, yeah, pet peacocks are, does seem like the sort of thing that would happen in Georgia. For the sake of having a lot of color in this, and like the background is going to be black, and, you know, wanting the black bird to stand out, I think I'm going to actually have, you know, one bird in a lot of cool tones like blue and purple, and then the other bird in warm tones like, you know, pink and orange. Still a lot of white, but rather than just straight up going black and white, rather than like light and dark, more like warm and cold. Still a duality that requires balance. Someday you will have a parrot and it will be an asshole, but it will be yours. I do want that for you, Moles. I will just be a little scared to come over to your house. Oh yeah, having birds that just like have made a nest in your dwelling. Oof. Oh, you put away your parrot for me. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not that I, like, dislike your birds. I'm just scared of them. Okay. Yeah, the light and the dark being used in a lot of art does also feel a little bit overused at times. And it shows up so much in the tarot that I kind of just want something different. just for the sake of variety. I think I'm going to do the spokes on the wheel in white lines. I think that might be what I do. Did I draw this petal wrong? I feel like I forgot like a joint on the mechanics of it. Let's see, so it's got to come out and then go in. Yeah. Bike pedals are really complicated, actually. There's been a lot of like, I saw a show once where they asked people to draw bikes without looking at a bike, and then they just sort of posted all of these pictures of the bikes and then explained why these bikes did not work. Because it's just all of these different moving pieces, and if you make one the wrong way, it doesn't work. And so like even they even asked like people that regularly rode bikes, and they asked like artists, draw a bike from memory. And I think only one person actually made something that could be ridden. And at least a unicycle is more simple than a full bicycle. So long as I get it close enough. I hope no unicycle enthusiasts like look at this card and get offended. Okay, so that line has to be the same angle as this line. Alright, and luckily some of the petal is also covered by this shoe, and I don't have to draw it, so that's great. Alright, so we got the main part done. Can start working on the background. You're gonna start a blog that critiques unicycles in art! Shittyunicycles.tumblr.com, that's not a real link, don't click it, okay. I was wondering if, like, you made a Tumblr just for this, because someone did... back when I was like on Tumblr a lot, like I just made a joke about how the eggs in my fridge kept expiring, and I wish that they had a blog where they would tell me, like, I wish my eggs had a blog so that I could just see it when they were about to expire. And someone just immediately, one person made a blog called Megan's Eggs, and another person made a blog called Megan's Fridge, and they like would actually update them. And you know, that's what Tumblr used to be like. It used to be a lot of fun and games. Yep, the niche Tumblrs. I don't think it was in the early 2000s, though. I don't think Tumblr existed until the later 2000s. Okay, we can probably Well, not going to try that yet. Select the background. I do miss Tumblr sometimes. I liked the format. I just didn't like all the arguing. But now all the arguing is on Twitter anyways. So it turns out it's never the website itself, it's the people on it that make a social network good or bad. Who would have thought? So, gonna use some straight lines. Knitting time has now become cat playing with my yarn time. I'm sure that happens, like, a lot. I bet you my cats wish that I would take up knitting for sure. Although Egg really only likes one feather toy, this very specific feather toy that is almost completely demolished. There's only one feather left on it, and its days are numbered. And one time we gave her a different feather toy, and she cried. She cried and cried until we gave her the other feather toy back, even though it was just demolished. It used to have a bunch of feathers on it, and then it turned into just one solitary beaten up feather. But she will cry until she gets that toy. And I don't know what we're gonna do when it eventually does just end up, like, when it completely falls apart and we have to give her a new toy. Oh, parenthood is hard. Yeah, when the porn was okay on Tumblr, it was definitely, yeah, like, part of why I left Tumblr was because I do a lot of adult art and wasn't able to do it anymore. But I also know that Tumblr did that because, for, like, legitimate reasons, that, you know, Tumblr was being used for a lot of child porn, but so is Facebook. So, I mean, any social thing that allows users to post to it, Pinterest has child porn on it. It's horrible. But also laws like FOSTA and SESTA made it so that now individual websites are responsible for the content that their users post. And so it was easier for them to just ban all adult content than try to figure out legalities. Oh, come on. Is my stylus not working? Why did you stop working? Why did you stop working? Just like randomly in the middle of this. I've been drawing for 2 hours. Let's try restarting Photoshop again. Sometimes that's what it needs. Let's see. Although the mouse isn't moving around at all. In that case, I need to restart the Wacom service. Excuse me while I try to make this work. And yeah, poor baby Egg, she's someday gonna be very sad about having to get a new toy. We've got all of these toys for her. She's not gonna be without toys for even a moment. Oh yeah, I saved. Nothing, it wasn't actually anything wrong with Photoshop. It was my okay, tablet's working again. You have to just like restart the Wacom driver sometime. Sometimes it's fixed by restarting Photoshop, sometimes it's fixed by restarting the Wacom. Technology is great. Tumblr now is just Supernatural Season 19, better and gayer. Yeah, I miss the format of it. It really was kind of my favorite social media for a long time, but just not being able to post half my work on there, I don't know. But I still use Facebook, I guess. Although not very much. I rarely use Facebook, like, professionally. It's a nightmare to try and use it professionally. Like, I'll post things on Facebook and find out that even though I have, like, I don't know, like 8,000 followers on Facebook, it'll only show the post to, like, 37 of them unless I decide to pay for it. And I'm just like, no, I'm not about that. I'm not gonna be held ransom. Google Reader was the best when everyone could just host their own websites where they had control, and then Google Reader would tell your followers when you updated, but then they would go see your post on your own website. And they had to kill it because it was much more profitable to force everyone onto social media. All right. Man, I just can't stop ranting about capitalism. But it is so bad. And it touches so many parts of my life. Yep, less control for you means more profit for companies. Although it also does mean, like, Google Ads is not much of a thing anymore now that, you know, everyone's posting their ads through Facebook and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if it really helped Google in the long run. I don't know. They've got a billion other ways to make money. But yeah, it does feel like Facebook holds me for ransom sometimes. Instagram too, which is owned by Facebook. I used to have so much more control over my work on the internet and my ability to reach a fan base. And there was more, like, conversation about it too. Like, you know, I would have my own comment section. People could talk to each other about it. Now, like, replies on Twitter, there's not as much, like, conversation between other people. Like, I loved seeing other, like, readers talk to each other about the work I was making, which I actually like the chat on Twitch because you guys do, like, you can talk to each other and stuff like that and, like, have a conversation, which is cool. And, like, I missed, like, I had a pretty lively forum back in the day that, like, you know, people would socialize on. And, you know, some people became friends with each other in my forum. And that's not really a thing anymore. Oh, I lament the death of Google Reader all the time. I want to keep bringing this shadow all the way down. I don't think I really do. I think I'll draw the rope ladder and the tightrope in white lines. But right now I have to draw a bunch of stars in this canopy. there's one more bit of canopy I still have to draw. There we go. A lot of little stars. Yeah, I could shortcut some of the stars, but I don't think I'm going to, because I want them to be filled in with white. But I definitely, like, in other settings, would absolutely do that. Let's also put some stars, like, in the folds. Got some depth. Ah, thank you, Moles. I will hydrate. It has been a minute. Okay. Well, it's not turning out. Make all the... Probably use some more out here. Some behind. I think that's probably enough because a lot outside of this just gets cut off by the frame. Yeah. Oh, this is looking so good. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to draw this in red for right now. And I'm going to change it to white. Oof. I want this curve to be a certain quality. Okay, I like that curve. We just got to bump it over to be right under there. Nope, it's the wrong curve. Maybe I have to do this in two parts. Because it does have to kind of like come down from the platform. And then out like this. Oops, that did not. Oh, stretching time now. Oh, all right. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Some shit's crackly. Oh. Oh. That all limber. Shake it out. All right. taking care of myself. It's always good. Someone did follow last week, with the username Drink Water for the Boys. And, it did remind me to drink some water. For sure. And I bet you, like, he does a valuable service, or actually I don't know their pronouns. So they do a very valuable service going around Twitch, and just by following someone, it reminds them to hydrate. I think that'll be good. Oh yeah, the spokes. The spokes on the thing. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Still not getting the best sleep these days, which is making me pretty tired. But more or less I'm doing good. It just ends up a little wiggly towards the top. I do feel like this new Wacom tablet I got is, like, I don't want to say, like, too sensitive, but it, just something about the line quality with this new tablet. All of my lines are a little bit more shaky than they were with my, like, almost 15-year-old tablet. All right. How's everyone in the chat doing today? Oh yeah, I was like, what day of the week is it? I was like, duh, it's Tuesday. It's Tarot Tuesday. It's like my favorite day of the week. I also do my bass lessons on Tuesday. Tuesdays are jam-packed with cool stuff for me. If I have any energy left over after all of that, I'm going to try and work on some stained glass stuff. Yeah, I'm learning the bass. I got a bass for my birthday last year. It's beautiful. And I fucked around on my own with it for a long while. Trying to learn it. And finally, hired my friend to, like, teach me lessons. And have learned so much more in just, like, one lesson. Like, 1 half-hour lesson than I learned in 6 months trying to figure it out on my own. So, worth every penny. Actually, let me drop some info for my my music teacher, because he is awesome. And hold on, let me, is his website. Well, at the end of the stream, I will drop his info, because he's a great teacher. He's looking for more students. So if you are looking to learn how to play an instrument, a stringed instrument, he's gotcha. And you should hire him. Okay, now the spokes on the wheels. And I feel like I did draw the circle off by a little bit. I want to, oh yeah, I want to have that in the center. Okay. Oops. All right. So if I had just centered this when I was first drawing it, I could have avoided some of this headache. But it's nothing that's too hard to fix. Why did that line disappear? What? Oh, duh, because it's... Yeah. We have to change the whole shape of the background mask now. This is gonna... Part of why I like to use masks instead of just erasing stuff is so that I can make changes like, oops, I come on, come on. Photoshop, come on. Let's do some stuff. Oh, I accidentally put a quick mask on. I don't even know the point of the quick mask. So now I should be able to... Yes. And... Oh shit, no, we want the wheel to go in front of the boot on that side. Yes. Still. Let's draw the boot and then bring the wheel in front of this boot. And then erase that bit of boot. I'm glad I can help motivate other people to do some more art. I know that, like, especially these days, finding motivation to be creative can be really hard to come by. And like I definitely have had a lot of big periods of burnout. And it sucks. So I'm always happy to help with that sort of stuff. Ooh, so this pedal has two different tangents happening in it, and so I'm gonna have to fix this. There we go. Tangents are just where two lines sort of look like they're part of one shape when they're supposed to be different shapes. There we go. All right. The unicycle is much more mathematically still recovering from art school burnout nearly 10 years after you dropped out. That's another thing about art school. We were talking a lot about art school earlier in the stream. And like, in addition to being really expensive, it can also burn you out. Like, a lot of people thrive in like a formal education, like classroom setting, but also the way that we set up college to like take as much time as a job, like it will burn you out. It's so much work, and it you know, there's always teachers that forget that like their class is not the only one you're taking, and they'll assign you like 20 hours of homework when it's just like, on top of all the time you have to be in different classes and the homework from other classes and having to have a job and an unpaid internship, and it's just like, you are definitely going to burn out really fast. I'm gonna put this little, so we want to show that this is high up on the leg. All right. So yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, have to redraw, Delete layer mask. We're starting a new one. Okay. Oh, damn it. I have to turn off the frame. Oh, yeah, and since I bumped that bit up, I want to erase it a little bit. Cool. Yeah, I guess going right out of high school, it like has pros and cons because yeah, you're gonna have more energy and probably more time than you ever have in your life because you haven't had kids yet, probably. You know, you can still live with your parents, but also a lot of times, you know, going right out after high school, you end up burned out because you're just burned out on school in general and have been in it for your entire life and just need a break to let your brain rest before you add more knowledge to it. Yeah, even just like the community college work I had sometimes was a lot, and they did, you know, they had so many returning students at community college that they did you know, structure a lot of things with that in mind. They were just like, yeah, no returning ed people are going to take this class because, you know, it's way too much work and they already have a job that they have to go to pay for this in the first place, and they have kids and they're not going to do, you know, 18 hours of homework for one class. That's another reason I liked community college. All right, we need wheel spokes. I'm actually going to make myself a little guide just to know. Well, no. I don't need to do that. And this is not actually how wheel spokes look or work on a real bike tire. Because they do have like a weird, kind of a weird structure to them. But I don't think this is the sort of thing that needs that much realism. And I don't want to do it. So... all right. Again, some of these spokes are in front of the art, some of them are behind. Wait, no, that would be... oh no, wait, no, these would be behind this bit. Make the spokes a bit more of a consistent size. This is going on your unicorn critique or your unicycle critiquing Tumblr. Good. Criticize me. Yeah, your magical tarot cards to be perfectly realistic. Well, then this is not the deck for you. It's been one of the most valuable things I've learned as a working artist is being able to tell people sometimes just like, "Hey, I'm not the artist for you. That's okay," rather than, trying to shoehorn ourselves into each other's taste. We don't have to do that. We can just not. Okay. These shapes are one. So cool. We've got it inked. It should look pretty good. Let me try putting all of the black in the background. Just to make sure that the negative space on the bottom isn't too heavy. In case I do need to change up some stuff with the inks to balance it out. I think it'll be good. A dinosaur deck. I'm sure there's gotta be one out there. A science deck would be cool though. I think this will be good. Because, yeah, having the chariot at the bottom, and yeah, so having the, I think having the line of the tightrope becomes really, bold when it, has all of the black around it. So I think that's pretty good. I think we can call this the sketch. Oh, I am gonna stand up and take a big stretch and grab some more water. I'm gonna run another real quick ad for a second, just while I do those things, and then I will be back in 60 seconds and we're gonna do the coloring. So yeah, I'll see you in 1 minute. Oh, that was a good stretch. It was a good full body stretch that I just did, and very happy to have taken it. I am trying to, sometimes I just get so into doing these streams and drawing these cards that I end up not taking a break, and I'll just draw for 3 or 4 hours straight, and forget to rest. So I'm trying to give myself at least a minute in between sketching and inking and coloring. Just to be kind to my body. All right. Oh yeah, let's see how these are gonna look in white. Yeah. I think that's really cool. And it goes with, the frame being this white line stuff. I think it's gonna look really good with the white lines that I have throughout. But we're gonna turn those layers off while coloring. Okay. So, we did decide one bird was gonna be like white with fiery, warm accents, and the other was going to be darker with, oh, that crow beak is getting lost. So we gotta... There we go. There you go, little bird. Oh yeah, a tarot show. Actually, Gala Delicious did a whole tarot themed show called Queen of Cups several years ago, and it was really cool. I think she did the Tower, which was really awesome. I didn't know all that much about tarot at that time. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that people like, a tarot themed show. I know Lily Rascal still does her strength act sometimes. I've seen her do it. Wonder which card I would do an act about. Especially if I use my own deck to interpret. Oh, that was the wrong area. No, not save, undo. Okay. Verb number 1. And yeah, I'm going to give it some purple tones too. Oh yeah, I'm sure, like, I mean, there's so many tarot decks that you see at cons these days. I do wonder if it'll ever, like, get its own con. All right. One verb. I like that a little better. Verb number 1. Now for verb number 2. Actually, I guess since it's dark all behind there, I can just select that. Let's start with, yeah, pale yellow. You have almost like a crow and a phoenix. I think that's pretty cool. So it ends up being more like night and day rather than black and white, because I went with, you know, a lot of night colors, and then, you know, this very sunny color over here that I think will translate to that duality. I just want people to be able to look at this and be like, where's the sphinxes? Oh, wait, that concept is being illustrated by these birds. I want people who are familiar with like the traditional tarot to look at this and know what these birds mean and why they are here instead of sphinxes. It's Dayman and Nightman as birds. This one is Champion of the Sun. Just put a little... Yeah. This bird is a master of karate and friendship. Okay, so it turns out maybe it's fun to draw birds. It's kind of fun to draw birds. Cool. Oh, she's just floating out in space right now and it looks super weird. All right, bird. I'm actually going to label this layer birds so I remember which layer has my birds on it. All right. So I do want to have this background. This sort of like a paler blue and then a darker blue. Maybe this blue. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks good. Yeah. Should be good. It's coloring all the little bits. Get caught up in the lines. All right, I think that's good. Oh, nope, there's that little bit right there. Okay. And I know labeling layers is, you know, it's not something I do when I'm on my own, but I have company. It's the same way you know, bring out the nice china. I'm actually going to label things. Let's do a bit of a darker brown for the platform, just to make it pop a little bit more. Separate it off of that. Actually, it'll pop less because the background is so dark. So actually, let's make this a little lighter. There we go. Actually, it's supposed to be negative space. Okay. I hope that that's still... I kind of want to lighten that whole thing up a little bit more, though, so that it doesn't get lost. It really does help, sort of, helps the composition. I'm trying to save frequently. So, we've got, you know, dark blue, indigo, purple, red, orange, yellow. So it's gonna be another one where we don't really use much in the way of bright green unless I want this to be like a rainbow sort of motif, which might work for the circus thing. I just, you know, don't always like to go full Lisa Frank with things. But it might work for this one. Alright, what color skin tone? Hmm. Maybe like a yellow? Kind of like that. Looking kind of gold. Can always change it. I'll leave just this on its own separate layer, so I can change it if need be. For hair. Let's see. Just gonna give her pink hair for now. Not entirely sure about the pink hair either, because I do want to have the feathers in her hair mimicking the feathers of the burbs. So we're gonna have orange feather. Well, these feathers are gonna be like so many lines in them. Also the orange. Chat, are you guys staying hydrated? Are you drinking water and stretching? And I do hope you take the time when I have my stretch and water breaks to treat yourselves kindly as well. Yeah, have yourself a stretch. It's good for you. Oh, nice. What kind of tea you drinking? Tea is my drink of choice. Is that the same shade of? No, that's a different shade of. It was indigo? Yeah. Watching Twitch has helped you to remember to refill your sippy cup. Nice. Green tea with ginger, always good. Ginger tea. I'll often drink ginger tea after a stream because it is soothing on a throat that's been talking a lot. My throat has been getting stronger since doing Twitch streams too. Like, just, I haven't been talking as much during COVID times. And so my throat got a little weak because it forgot how to, I used to, you know, have jobs where I'd be talking to people all day. I had a very strong voice. All right. Honey, ginger, lemon tea is my cure for like so many things. It's, if it hurts on the inside, it gets honey, ginger, lemon tea. If it hurts on the outside, it gets tea tree oil and witch hazel. And if one of those two things doesn't fix what is hurting me, it's time to go to the hospital because I must be dying. Well, these feathers just became the bisexual flag. Once again, this stream ends up with bi pride in it. You know what? I think I am going to have some green in here because it's going to give it a sort of peacocky effect, but I'm not going to have it be a really super bright green. Yeah, like this teal, this very bluish green, I think will work. And you know what? It is the circus. It can be a bunch of different colors. That's a sweet looking headdress. Although I do feel like the indigo is maybe getting lost a little bit. Yeah, bi pride, trans flag. I actually really love the pansexual flag. I love that like really bright pink that's in it. Yeah, the pink hair kind of unifies the bi pride feathers and lesbian pride feathers and pansexual feathers. This is, yeah, and you got the rainbow in there. This is ending up very gay, and I love it. Yeah, I'm going to lighten the lower part of these feathers so that they don't end up too dark and lost. I think that's a little better. Yeah, actually, I think I might stick with the pink hair and yellow skin. Um, yeah, I think, I mean, full rainbow could be the way to go here. All right, let's think about this costume. Um, yeah, maybe some green tones do go in here. Hmm. Definitely don't want to use too many colors in the clothes. Fashion definitely benefits from having like a strong color scheme to it. So let's take this darker teal out of the headdress. And the lighter green. And then what color for the alternating stripes? Maybe like one of the colors from the nightbird and one from the daybird. I want it to be more of the purple color. Yeah, purple and orange, I think, is the way to go. I do love the purple and orange. And I like it with that dark teal. I'm not liking that green in the collar bit. Maybe that gets this other shade of purple. Yeah, that other shade of purple looks good. I think that's looking good. All right. I think for this rod she's carrying, her balance stick, I was gonna have it be like light on this side and dark on this side. Maybe I can actually. I'm gonna use this indigo. Nope, that's the wrong tool. Yeah, I think that works. Let's make the bike seat that indigo color as well. All right. I always like to use like a muted blue-green instead of a gray in stuff like this for the metal parts. Maybe that same All right, I want the bike tire to stand out though. I don't want it to get lost by making it like a dark color. No spokes unicycle held together by magic. Yes. Maybe it's gonna be the same color as her hair. Was that the color I used for hair? Was it this color? Yeah, because I like that that stands out against the green boots. This is the most rainbow colored card I have so far done. So I'm probably going to want to tweak some stuff. Just to sort of make the color scheme as strong as it can be. I think maybe instead of that pink hair, it needs to be a little lighter, is all, I think, to make it stand out. First of all, was it this color? Oh, okay. Maybe like a... Ooh, I like that lavender color hair. It does mean I'm going to probably want to do some of this background blue a little bit darker. So that, actually, so that she stands out a little bit more. Oh no. Did the tablet stop working again? Alright, gotta restart the tablet again. It's just gonna take 10 seconds. Alright, that should work. Still not working, huh? This better not be, I don't know why it decides to not work sometimes. Maybe Wacom has an alliance with Adobe and it heard me talking shit about Adobe. So it decided to sabotage me today. Okay, we got it back. Good. Oh yeah. Yeah, I like this better. I like it better being darker. So I guess the question becomes, maybe I change the yellow to maybe more of an orangey color? No. So I just feel like the yellow is clashing just a little bit, or just making it too many color. We want it to be darker than the hair. But there's also so much blue behind her. This purple could work. Kind of like that purple. Actually, I really like that purple. A lot better than the yellow. And I might take the yellow out of the burbs. Just replace it with, or at least this really pale yellow. Oh my god. Here we go. Still behaving a little bit badly right now. Oh, and it has no pressure sensitivity. Which is something I need for drawing. Now we can do the verbs. Alright, hold on. I do have to restart Photoshop. Ugh. This has been such a nightmare of restarting. I can't believe this computer is less than a year old, and it gives me this many problems. Thanks for sticking with me through all the technical difficulties today, chat. I really appreciate it. There we go. Yeah, yellow's just too much. Actually, oh, I could go with a lighter orange there instead of yellow. Oh, I like that. I like just replacing it with the lighter orange. Lighter orange almost looks yellow by comparison to the red that it's next to, but it's not actually yellow. And do this with the headdress. Yeah, we all understand that tech just kind of sucks sometimes. Alright, yeah, I definitely like this better with the purple flesh and the periwinkle hair. And the lack of yellow in it. I'm almost wondering if I should make... the canopy ahead even darker? Ooh. Let me split the difference. Nah. I think it's good. I might change the staff she's holding. What's that on? That layer. Just because one side of it is really getting lost in the black background. Might just leave it white, honestly. Yeah. Let's see how it's looking with the, Okay, so we've got this star here that is making the number impossible to read. So, where did I put that star layer? We're gonna erase that star. Yeah, there we go. Now it stands out. And yeah, you can clearly see the chariot. I am going to give her some makeup. Maybe this one I will give pupils. She's not really magical. The magical ones, I was sort of leaving pupilless with just white eyes because that looks spooky. She can have. I'm gonna give her some contour. Some eyeshadow. And the hair. I'm gonna do some highlights. And some lowlights. Just to add a little bit of depth to the hair. Cool. I like her. I hope it reads as balanced with, you know, all of that dark negative space at the bottom. Sort of the purpose is that she's in this negative space. Because yeah, I think this is good. I think I really like how this ended up. It's even cooler on the page than it was in my head. But yeah, I think that's good. I'm hoping it feels balanced because this card is so much, you know, you want there to be balance in this card that yeah. It's yeah, control, willpower, success. She's definitely in control through sheer force of will, successfully riding this unicycle, taking action. Yeah. She's definitely brave here. Yeah. I like it. I'm so concerned about the negative space at the bottom feeling like it's unfinished rather than intentional. But, you know, there's going to be plenty of time between drawing this and printing it. There's definitely cards that I have made tweaks to. So there's sometimes calling it for the day is just a way of saying, like, this is as much as my brain can do on this piece today. and I might be able to do more on it later if I think of something, but right now, my brain is saying, that's good right there. Don't overwork it. There's also that of not wanting to, you know what, actually, looking at this, just this little bit of green in the headdress, the like really bright green is bothering me because it's the only spot with this color in it. So I'm going to change it to just, I don't know, this purple color. Yeah, that's already a lot more balanced. Not having that just one tiny spot of green, it just looked really distracting, I think. So, yeah, I think it's good. I feel like there's just something nagging me that I'm not going to see today, and I'll see it tomorrow. Or maybe not. Like, maybe I'm just being too hard on myself. It's entirely possible that I'm just being too hard on myself. Because I just want everything to be perfect, but perfectionism is its own demise. So, yeah. I like it. I do like it. I'm really happy with it. It definitely looks like a circus. Yeah, I think it works. I think it really, fits with the spirit of the Chariot and is really, unique going with the unicycle. So again, thank you, Dapper Cadaver, my partner in crime, for giving me that suggestion because it turned out great. I'm happy with it. I think I'm also just I need to eat some lunch, and I think that's what's also making me hard on myself is like everything seems a little more difficult when you haven't eaten lunch. So that might be what I need to do. And yeah, I have a feeling that maybe in a few months I might just do a Tarot Tuesday of doing edits to cards I've already made. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do that in private because I'm sure it might not be the most compelling thing to watch. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go eat some lunch. Thank you everyone for joining for another Tarot Tuesday. Stop by tomorrow for whatever Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Where yeah, I think I'm gonna try out Clip Studio and see if I can figure out how to make that work for me. I don't know. We'll see. Last week I drew all of my cats as people, and it turned out really cute, and we had a great time, and there were so many cats on stream. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Hopefully lots of happy little accidents and friendly little trees or something. But yeah, thanks again for stopping by today. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let me see actually if any of my other artist pals are on right now. Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys over to Stitch, who does very fun art streams and is actually one of my circus pals. So yeah, since we're all in a circus mood, let's go say hi to Stitch after this. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I stream at the same time. How was your stream? What were you working on? Also, the Velveteen DJ, maybe you can help me with this. It seems like there's a lot of noise when I talk. Is there a way for me to fix that? Oh, I was like, why does my earbud feel weird? It's because I had it in the wrong ear. Like a dingus. It's because I have this monster eating my brain today. LBIM 31, welcome in. Oh my gosh, that's a wonderful rainbow piano. It was great. I had a circus performer as the chariot card. Oh, nice. Matan had the same issue. He fixed it. You need to add the noise suppression. I have it on there, but maybe I just have to adjust it. Give me 1 second here. All right, gonna go into my settings. Sorry, Raiders. I'm trying to figure out a thing really quick. Trying to fix